The story begins with a guy who always thought everyone had at least one talent. He just still hasn't found his. But soon he would have found it. However, it didn't happen. "What's an F-rank jerk like you doing here?" shouted an unhappy guy to a passing man. "If you don't have any talent, at least know your place." People treated him badly, and his girlfriend decided to break up with him altogether. But what else will our hero go through? We have yet to find out. Talent, in a world that doesn't give losers like me a chance. But I don't need it. You know what's better than talent? Connections. All of my 990,000 past lives. Everyone is watching me. Shield skills, swordsmanship, singing, even my physique. All his past lives have followed and helped him, and his adventures begin. Damn it, how did this happen? Everyone died but me, Hunter F. Rang. I see no way out. The entrance to the dungeon suddenly closed and the skeletons attacked. What in the world are these high-ranking monsters doing here? "But I don't want to die here senselessly," said the guy. "If only I had that incredible power, I'd have some chance." Congratulations. Seeing your urge to live, your past life went beyond the limitation and intervened on its own. That voice, the boy heard the voice of Sidon Miller. That last patron of the sword came down to him, just like in my dream. "Hey," F rang up. Sighs sharply, the guy wakes up. "My life, look at that clown. He stupidly escaped while we were defending the dungeon and then fell asleep." The guys who worked with him in the dungeon gossiped about him. "I didn't want to say this, but we don't have a lot of money to give to little critters like you. If you're awake, get the hell out of here and don't look for another team." "What do you mean you don't have that much money?" "Now I understand you're not F-Rang, you're retarded. You got shot in the dungeon and then you drank all our potions. And we had to throw a rock at you, which made you pass out. You made us waste a lot more time and you don't even know how much those potions you drank were worth," said the men to the boy. "If you had any conscience, you'd understand why you didn't get any. Really, while we were clearing the dungeon, what were you doing in the first place? But that's because you told me to provoke all the monsters. I'm not saying I did the right thing, but not paying me is against the law," the guy yelled. "What's against the law? Did you lose what's left of your brain after that punch? Please let me show you what I can do." "You wouldn't happen to know whose words those were, would you? Before you joined our team, you said that being a decoy would provoke the monster, but you failed even in that task. After we saved you from death, you decided to show your gratitude with these words." The man continued to scold the boy. "If you're still not happy about something, go report it to the association." Who do you think the association will believe? It was a world of raids, dungeons, and monsters. People in whom the ability was awakened became hunters who defended the dungeons based on their level of ability and achievement. They were given their ranks. Our hero was a F-rank hunter, but the treatment of lower-ranked hunters was like trash and there is no escaping it. But he was already used to it and went on with his life. Because even someone like me has a ray of light. It was his girlfriend Hai Jin. She was right beside him. He was very happy to see her, but his rank was small for her. Even though they had been dating for a year, he was very much in love with Hai Jin and was about to propose to her, but she asked him to break up with her at that very moment. It was because she already had a C rank. "You're F-Rang. Know your place, you're too pathetic. I can't stay with you anymore. I want nothing to do with a hunter of such low rank. Don't call me again, goodbye." It almost killed the boy. He felt more and more like a loser. His acquaintance supported him. He understood that he felt bad and how much trouble was coming his way, but it was all his own fault. He didn't try hard enough. He always thought everyone had at least one talent, and he just hadn't found his own. Even though he had no talent, he had tried to achieve something with his efforts and hard work. Did all his efforts make sense? Or could he just give up? Suddenly a cheerful man comes up to him and sees at a glance that he has a F rank. But you can see the great potential in his face. But how did this man determine everything just from his face? "It doesn't matter," the man replied, and asked the question, "Do you believe in past lives?" The man opened his arms and said, "I feel past lives of incredible people inside me. They are not just past lives. Each one had the status of the strongest." "Past lives? What are you talking about?" the guy interrogated. "If you're hungry for power, you shouldn't have any problem. Because even now to see past lives with you," the old man said. "If you don't believe me, you'll see for yourself soon enough. That's all I can tell you." And the old man disappeared just as quickly as he appeared. And in the meantime, a friend of his sat down on the bench and asked, "What are you doing?" "I bought us some drinks. Let's have a little distraction. By the way, who was that guy?" His friend asked him again. "I don't know. By the way, do you believe in past lives?" "What are you talking about? What past lives?" Suddenly the guy heard a voice in his head. "You've found out about past lives. Bashi 990,000 past lives are watching you. The Shield of Justice is watching you. The Living Song is watching you. And many other lives are watching you as well." You just heard a friend's boyfriend interject. "Heard what?" "Well, some voice just said." "All right, forget it. Did you find out anything about the industries that need rapists like I asked?" "Were you serious? Why do you want to do this hard work?" his friend said. "Well, I have to pay my rent. The friends continued talking and then they went home. I may only have one friend, but he is the best. They'll probably call me retarded, but I'll give it my all. I'll do 100 times better than the other. Opening the door of his apartment, he was blinded by the light. Where the hell am I? I could have sworn I just walked into my apartment, but now I'm in some other world. Behind him was a huge night. At last we meet, Kang Hyun-young. How do you know my name and where I am anyway? The boy answered. My name is Karsago, the shield of justice that protects the northern part of the kingdom. And I am your past life. My past life. What are you talking about? And suddenly he remembered the old man's words. I can sense past lives of incredible people inside you. So what that man said is true. The man in front of me is a past self with the status of the strongest. Whether you believe me or not, you'll soon feel it yourself. Now that I'm paying attention to you, Kang Hyun, even if your body is torn to pieces 1,000 times with my spear, I will still put my will into you, said the knight. Wait, are you really my past life? I do not understand. Even if you face death, will you continue to yell? Answered the knight of the shield. If you intend to mix you with mud, I will wash your ears in your blood. The knight threw the boy's spear. Why are you doing this? Kan Hen interrogated. I'm bleeding now. You have to get out or I'll really die. You have unnecessary thoughts again, shouted the knight. Are you afraid of dying? You shouldn't do that. The knight took the spear out of the guy's body. You know you can't die without my permission, even if you wish it. I couldn't die even if I wanted to, the boy thought. Will I be tortured here forever? He saw a white door and rushed to it. I must escape through that door. The knight saw it and shouted, You're running away again. For lack of strength to defend yourself, you don't even have the courage to face death. What a pity to lose your love and honor. The knight continued to speak. Go away, such as you cannot be my vessel, I cannot hide my pity. At these last words, Kan Hen stopped at the door. What do you know about me? I may have no talents or skills, but there is hope, that after much suffering one day things may change. But for those who have no power, suffering is just suffering. No matter how bad I feel, I can't back down. Turned to face the knight and said, Don't talk it so easy if you don't know how it feels to be powerless. You know nothing of me. How dare you speak to me like that? Kan Hen clenched his teeth in anger. There is fire in your eyes at last. The knight said, I am your past life. I must give you my will, so that no one can take it away from you, and so that you can climb to the top. Sidon sends you his congratulations. Those voices again. We will help you. But without trials and tribulations you will not achieve results. If you wish to find the strength to stand before your destiny, raise your shield and fight me. I don't fully trust you. I'm not even sure you're my past life. Well, if I can really get stronger, I can. Kan Hen picked up his spear and began to fight the knight. The knight was of course stronger and defeated him. Kan Hen was losing his mind and was on the verge of death. His spear had already stabbed him 100 times. How unfortunate, the knight replied. After 2,500 piercings you still can't use your shield properly. For a weakling like you, one more time is unnecessary. I'll kill you, pointing the spear at the guy. But this time, the guy managed to defend himself, and he threw back the spear with his shield, blocking the blow. My work is done. You did well, said the knight. I used the basic 24 spear techniques, and the ability to understand the enemy's attacks. When you awaken from this dream, your life will change. Suddenly, Kan Hen heard the phone ring. It was his friend texting about a job. Hey, how's the hangover? The schedule already showed up. Had to work in the C-Rang dungeon. The friend gave him the address and Kan Hen started packing, remembering a strange dream in which he was stabbed with a spear, but there was not a single scar on his body. What was it? In truth, it was so realistic that it wasn't even a dream. As he was about to leave, he saw the very shield from the dream by the door, and he remembered the knight's words. If you want to fight me, raise your shield. So he decided to take it with him. He threw the shield over his shoulder and went to the dungeon. As he approached, he saw an old acquaintance, who asked him, How are you going to carry mana crystals if you're lugging around such a heavy shield? Those guys didn't get along with Kang Hen at all. They literally hated him. But what could they do? They had to go to the dungeon together. And when it was time to open the door, Kang Hyun felt a familiar feeling, like in that dream when he was about to be stabbed with a spear. Of course, it was a weaker feeling, but he could clearly feel the urge to kill. As soon as the door opened, something strong flew right out of the dungeon. Dodge. It was the skeleton knights. They launched a sharp attack. The guys attacked them in every way they could. The weird thing is that skeleton knights are only supposed to be in ranked dungeons. And now part of our team is dead because of them. It was probably an elite dungeon and its rank is higher than C. The team has no choice. If it's a dungeon with a lockable door after entering, they have to stay and clean it out. Let's clear this dungeon, but let's get some rest. But suddenly the abrupt silence was broken by a huge skeleton knight who started attacking the team. And the skeleton managed to kill one of the guys. It turned out that it was the skeleton sergeant. Their only thoughts were that they were doomed and would die here. Kang Hyun realized that he had to take the wool in his fist and fight. He understood how the skeleton acted and hit it with his shield that it shattered into pieces. The teammates were even surprised that he handled the skeleton so easily. But he shouldn't relax as the attacks continued and Kang Hyun fought on. He managed to defeat the skeletons and cleared the way. And while the battle was going on, the only ones left alive were him and his ex-girlfriend, who immediately remembered how they loved each other. And out of fear of death, she was immediately ready to make peace.